There's a certain magic in Christmas, isn't there? That really heartwarming feeling you get from stories set in these charming small towns.
Oh, absolutely. All twinkling lights and, cozy vibes.
Exactly. And today we're diving deep into that exact feeling with Audrey Stone's Festival Magic. It's the first book in her Haven Brook Christmas romance series.
Right. Our source today is that novel, and it really does transport you.
Mm-hmm.
Haven Brook feels like this quintessential English village,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the lead up to their big annual Christmas festival. It's all picturesque scenes, community, tradition, like just the perfect setting for a romance, really.
It really is. And for those of you who, like me, just love a good romance, this book promises that lovely blend of small town Christmas spirit and the spark of a new relationship developing.
Definitely.
So, just to be clear, our deep dive today isn't about giving away spoilers or big plot twists.
No, not at all.
It's more about exploring what makes this book work, especially for fans of the genre. We'll look at the characters, the story setup, the themes underneath it all.
And basically why Festival Magic might just be your next perfect cozy read.
Yes. That's our mission for you today. Figure out if this is the heartwarming book you're looking for. Okay, shall we get into it? Meet the main players in Haven Brook.
Let's do it. So first up is Aura Desmond.
Okay.
She's this very driven marketing executive. She comes to Haven Brook all the way from New York City.
Right, the big city outsider.
Exactly. And she's not there for a relaxing holiday. It's a career move. Her firm, Mackenzie Associates, has sent her to basically revitalize the town's Christmas festival.
Okay, so you get her motivation straight away. She's got something to prove, right? Wants to make her mother proud. Sounds like there were sacrifices made for her education.
That's mentioned. And she's definitely got her eye on a promotion, that creative director job at Mackenzie.
So it feels like her first look at Haven Brook is, well, very much through that professional lens. Like it's a job to be done, a project.
Yeah, I think so. That snow globe image the book mentions she has of the town, it sort of captures that initial, maybe slightly arm's length view.
That makes sense. It's kind of a classic way to start these stories, isn't it?
Right.
That outsider perspective clashing with the idyllic small town.
It is a familiar setup, yeah.
Yeah.
And it works because it immediately sets up potential for change, for transformation for that character,
Right. And then we have the other side of the coin.
which is Maverick Sloan. He is like pure Haven Brook, a cool local artisan, makes
Yeah.
these traditional wooden ornaments.
Ooh, lovely.
And he's just deeply connected to the town's heritage, its history, and especially the festival as it already is.
He sounds like the embodiment of that small town spirit then. So it's probably no surprise he's a bit resistant to Aura's plans to revitalize things.
Not at all. You can immediately sense his fear of it becoming too commercial, losing that authentic community heart.
Yeah, that genuineness.
Exactly. And there's this strong feeling that tradition is really, really important to him personally. Maybe hints of past letdowns or something, possibly involving someone named Sophia. The book sort of touches on that.
Interesting. So his resistance, it sets him up as the kind of guardian of the old ways.
Pretty much. He's the foil to Aura, the newcomer bringing change.
Yeah.
It creates that immediate conflict, not just ideas, but like core values clashing.
And that's great ground for character development.
And of course, for romantic tension, as they inevitably have to, figure things out together.
That tension really feels like the engine of the story, doesn't it? This initial clash of cultures, these different visions for the festival.
Yeah, absolutely.
You mentioned their first meeting awkward at the B&B. That sounds like a perfect way to set the stage.
It does. And Aura's initial ideas sound, well, quite grand, like a Winter Wonderland theme park.
Whoa. Okay, yeah. That's a contrast to traditional wooden ornaments.
Right. So different from Maverick's perspective. And then there's a town meeting where she presents these initial plans. You can just imagine the fireworks.
Oh, definitely. That sounds like a key scene, a real collision.
It is. It's classic romance setup in this kind of setting. The outsider, modern ideas, bumping up against the local who cherishes tradition.
But it's not just conflict, right? There have to be moments where they start to connect.
Of course.
Yeah.
And the book introduces those, like Maverick's mother, she's just called Mom, or Clara, she suggests they have dinner. Try to find some common ground.
The let's force them together moment. A reliable trope.
And a good one. Because then you start seeing shifts. Like Aura begins weaving the town's history into her plans. Things like historic tours, storytelling.
Okay, so she's listening. She's adapting.
Exactly. It shows she's willing to understand Haven Brook's roots, not just impose her New York ideas. And she starts asking Maverick for help, starts appreciating the local spots like Oakwood Park, the little shops.
So that initial corporate focus starts to soften.
It seems like it. It suggests she's maybe forming a deeper connection with the place itself, not just seeing it as a career stepping stone.
Which often happens in these stories, right? Connecting with the place leads to connecting with the people.
And on his side, Maverick's skepticism, it starts to thaw a bit. He begins to see that maybe, just maybe, some of Aura's ideas aren't so bad.
That gradual give and take, it makes their dynamic interesting. But it's not just them in a bubble, is it? There are outside pressures, too.
No, definitely not. For Aura, there's her boss back in New York, Vera Morrison, very demanding, wants results from McKinsey Associates. That career pressure is always there in the background.
Right, keeping the stakes high for her.
And for Maverick, there's this huge potential opportunity, a big order for his ornaments from Harrods in London.
Wow, Harrods, that's massive for a local artisan. Creates a real dilemma.
It does. Stay small, traditional, true to his roots, or embrace this potentially life-changing commercial success.
How does that pressure affect him? Does it tie into the bigger themes?
I think it mirrors the town's own struggle, tradition versus progress. It forces him to really think about his future, what he values most.
And there's mention of some other complications, like biased journalism stirring things up.
Yeah, a character named Ryan Starling seems to cause some trouble with his reporting. And Vera, the boss, apparently pops up again later, suggesting Aura's New York life isn't entirely left behind.
Okay, so lots of layers. Now, for our listeners who really come here for the romance aspect, let's dig into Aura and Maverick's connection.
Right, this is where you see those classic romance beats starting to play out. The initial misunderstandings, the different perspectives, they slowly start evolving into respect and, attraction.
It's often subtle at first, isn't it, in those shared moments?
Exactly, like the dinner with the Maverick's family you mentioned. Or Aura visiting his workshop, actually seeing his craft, his passion.
Oh, I love scenes like that, where they see a different side of each other.
And Maverick showing her around Haven Brook, the places that mean something to him. These little interactions, they break down the walls.
Why do you think those small moments are so effective in romance novels?
Well, they let the characters see past their first impressions, don't they? See the real person. Sharing those personal things, it creates vulnerability, empathy, which you need for a believable connection.
And you mentioned romantic tension. We get hints of that, right? The charged looks, the unspoken feelings, that slow burn that keeps you reading.
Definitely teased, yes.
Yeah.
Without giving away any big confessions or anything like that, of course.
Of course. And that whole city girl meets small town charm trope, it's popular for a reason. Their differences really do create interesting sparks.
They do. But it's not just Aura and Maverick. The supporting characters are important too, right? They make Haven Brook feel real.
Absolutely essential in a Christmas romance, that feeling of community.
So you have Maverick's mother, Clara Mum. She sounds supportive, but also perceptive about Aura. Maybe sees something good there early on.
Supportive family members, they often play that role, don't they? Giving a little nudge.
They really do. They provide that sense of belonging. Then there's George Chopra, the town historian.
Ah, the keeper of tradition.
Exactly. He embodies Haven Brook's history, its spirit. Characters like him really ground the story in its setting.
And Aura has her friend back home, Zinnia Chen.
Yeah, her best friend and colleague. Provides that link to her old life, someone to bounce things off of. It highlights the contrast between her two worlds.
That's important context. And Verity, the B&B owner. Sounds like the wise local figure.
Kind of. Offering advice, maybe some gentle observations. You know the type.
I do. Okay, so moving beyond the characters, let's talk themes. What are the big ideas festival magic explores?
Well, the most obvious one is that tension between tradition and change. How does a community or even a person balance honoring the past with adapting for the future, especially with something beloved like the festival?
That's such a relatable conflict, isn't it? So many places grapple with that.
For sure. And linked to that is Aura's personal journey, this theme of discovering where you truly belong. Is it the high-powered career in New York, or could it be something different, something more fulfilling, found in Haven Brook?
That search for home, it's huge in romance.
Absolutely. And another big one is overcoming first impressions, not judging people right away. Aura and Maverick both have these preconceived notions about each other.
Based on stereotypes, maybe. City slicker versus small town guy.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
And the story shows how those ideas change as they actually get to know one another. It's about seeing the person, not the label.
That's always a satisfying theme. And underpinning it all.
It's Christmas. That magic of Christmas, the community spirit, it's the backdrop for everything, for the personal growth, the romance, all of it.
Okay, so for our listeners thinking, this sounds like my kind of book, why should they specifically pick up Festival Magic?
Well, I mean, if you love those cozy, character-focused stories,
Set in charming small towns, especially with that festive Christmas layer. This seems designed for you. It promises that warm, comforting read.
and this setting itself, Haven Brook, this English village, it sounds like a big part of the appeal, like a character in its own right.
Definitely. It creates that atmosphere you want to just sink into, especially around the holidays.
And the central relationship,
Yeah.
Aura and Maverick.
They're dynamic, starting out, clashing, then finding understanding. That slow build. It's a really satisfying arc for romance readers when it's done well. Watching them navigate their differences is a key draw.
So it sounds like it hits all those sweet spots. Christmas vibes, community feel, a developing romance, and spoiler-free.
Exactly. The perfect kind of comforting but still engaging read for this time of year or anytime you need that feel-good escape.
And it's the start of a series, you said.
It's right. It's the first book in the Haven Brook Christmas romance series. So if you fall in love with the town and the characters, there's potentially more to come. That's always good news for readers who get invested. Okay, so if Haven Brook sounds like a place people want to visit, where can they find Festival Magic?
You should be able to find it pretty easily.
Yeah.
Check the big online retailers, Amazon, Barnes& and Noble, places like that.
And hopefully local independent bookstores, too. Always worth checking.
Definitely. And it's available in print and as an ebook, so whatever your preference is.
Good to have options. And is there more info on the author or the series?
Yep. You can check out the author's website. It's silvergravityentertainment.com/Audrey-Stone. Or find it on Instagram. The handle is instagram.com/silvergravityentertainment. Good places to look for updates.
Great. We'll make sure those are accessible. So wrapping up, Audrey Stone's Festival Magic sounds like a really solid choice for fans of the genre.
Yeah, that blend of small-town Christmas charm, likable characters going through real changes, and that central heartwarming romance ticks a lot of boxes.
Feels like the perfect cozy escape.
And it does leave you thinking, doesn't it? About that balance between holding on to tradition and embracing necessary change, how communities and relationships navigate that.
And maybe about how sometimes the best connections, maybe even love, can be found where you least expect them. That's kind of the magic of these stories, isn't it?
It really is.
Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Festival Magic. We hope we've given you a good feel for whether it's the right festive read for you.
Hope so.
And hey, we'd love to hear from you too. What are your favorite go-to Christmas romance reads? Feel free to share your recommendations with us.